cuffs are off, man. Get right. Too many left in these leagues, but I ain't gonna leave. I'ma get right. Get right. Down to the bottom and scratch it for all the.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus Grant.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Our league. Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
And best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
But I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, go roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right cause I roll my sleeves.
What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta, and this is Get Right Fantasy Network. I'm here with my boy Fish and Frank on this lovely Monday evening. Game that went on tonight, Giants at Pittsburgh. It got a little exciting there at the end, at least. But how you doing, man? How was your week 8, and how you feeling rolling into week 9?
I'm doing good. I had a pretty decent week, mostly wins, so I'm a positive side on my leagues. But, just not too excited. I think I need to pay more attention to my lineups. I was looking at the percentage that I think Sleeper gives you on your accuracy. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, some of the leagues, I'm like 98%. I can't do more. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing as much as I can, I guess. You know what I mean? That's what I got.
Right. Like getting close to starting your optimal lineup, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean,
at
this point,
every week.
I don't know. It's a little deceiving, though, because at this point, like any given week, I barely got 2-3 options on my bench, even if I wanted to. So, like with everybody hurt or on bye weeks and stuff like that, I don't know. That's a little misleading to me. But yeah, man, it was exciting week, man. We had a Hail Mary to end the game.
Ooh, that was awesome. Did you see that game?
Jaden Daniels, man. Yeah, that was insane. So we had a Hail Mary.
Hold on that, though. That dude was running around a little bit too long.
You had the Detroit running backs going crazy, Sonic and Knuckles, as they want to be known by over there.
Yeah, that's hella funny.
And Detroit putting up 52 points over there, man. Which one's Sonic and which one's Knuckles? I was kind of thinking about
Knuckles
it.
Is David Montgomery, dude.
Okay, but
like he's Gibbs. They literally called him when they were calling him running down the sideline.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Sonic, because he was fast, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But like Knuckles is the guy, like, he's I don't know, he's the cousin, I guess. So it's whatever. But yeah, no, that's good stuff. What do we got? National Tight Ends Week. Tight ends went crazy, bro. Tight ends went crazy on Tight End Week. So next time, let's actually play some tight ends on National Tight Ends Week. The only guys on my bench that did anything. And oh wow, we got Dustin in the house. I just saw you pop that up. Good stuff. What's up, D? And then we got Joe in the house too. What's up, man? How you doing?
What up?
So hey, Jameson Winston. He
coming off the bench
scored more points in his first start than any time that Deshaun was starting all year. They finally got over that 20-point mark. So a lot of takeaways here this week, man. It was pretty interesting. Anything else you want to mention on that you saw out there? Those are a couple of things I thought were stood out to me.
Stand out to you? Nah. I mean, you covered most of them right there, honestly. It was some good games, some tough losses. It was the upset of the week. The Ravens lost.
Yeah.
Right? That was crazy.
To the Browns, right? I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, dude, it's just I don't know, man. It was a good week of football or a bad week, depending on how you're looking at it. We had an MHJ sighting finally, so he went over 100 in a touchdown. That was nice to see. So there we go. And yeah, man. So why don't you tell them what we're doing here tonight, and then we'll get into the show.
All right, let's check it out here. So, welcome to your Monday nights. We're just doing the overreaction, going over the show here. But tonight we got the just kind of react to week 8 news, injury recap, heading into week 9, doing the top 9 waiver wire ads by position, if it's 65% rostered or less. And then we just do the live Q&A for the rest of the show. So keep dropping in your questions right now as we're getting started. Yeah.
There you go. And then you saw our schedule there throughout the week. We've been talking about it all off season. If you're new to us, just make sure you go back and pause that. Basically, we have streams coming for you every night of the week. We'll be here live pretty much every day except for Saturday. And just make sure you guys are getting down in the description and subscribing to our affiliate channels as well. The Fantasy Boardroom, we got the Fantasy Football Tavern, and the Extra Point. The links are all down there in the description. So help support the network as well as the main show here, and we'll keep bringing you this awesome content, man, throughout the season. So again, like you said, throw us your questions in the chat. We will get to those, and we'll also you can always shoot us a super chat. Super chats will stop the show. We'll get to your question or comment immediately. So we appreciate those as well too. So you ready to get in some news and notes here, Frank?
Yeah. Ravens shows you is already upset of the week. Got to be that us losing against the Ravens or the Jets losing to the Pats. I think it's the Ravens win. Because the Jets weren't winning anyways.
Yeah.
They have a record.
They're like top 5 pick right now. I think like that's the best thing Aaron Rodgers has done for them is to get them a top 5 pick so far. So hopefully he doesn't mess that up too. Yeah, just like take them all the way down to 10 by winning a couple games here. I'd pull them at this point. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so let's get into some news and notes, man. Here we'll try to get through it. So a lot of information here, but not too many injuries here this week, which was a little nice. We did lose still a couple folks here for the season or for a couple weeks, but all in all things considered, it wasn't too bad. Of course, a couple hit me close to home, but we'll get into those here. Always want to mention too, you caught it last time, but I kind of caught myself here this time. Week 9, we have 2 teams on a bye. That's the Steelers and my Niners, coming off that big win Sunday night. I didn't mention that in the intro, Frank, just, because out of respect, man. I mean, I just, I don't want to start the show off like and get in bad moods, so we'll leave that where it is. But yeah, so let's get into it here, man. News topics, injury updates. We have Packers quarterback Jordan Love. His MRI came back on his groin with some good news. They say it's just a strained groin, nothing major. They're saying he'll kind of get better, do some treatment, and they'll monitor him throughout the week. So that's positive news. Maybe he misses a week or two, or maybe there's a chance he even plays here this week. So just something to kind of monitor. We have the guy who is going to miss the rest of the season, unfortunately, Jags wide receiver Christian Kirk. He suffered a broken collarbone, so he's out. Right before, I think it was either right after or right before that, Brian Thomas Jr., he left dealing with the chest injury. He's considered day-to-day right now. They're calling it a contusion on the left side. The MRI didn't show anything more severe. So no, maybe cartilage tears, no broken ribs. So that's a good thing. They're saying there is a chance he could even play this week. So things are sounding positive there for BTJ. So thank goodness for that one. Another person we may lose for the year. It was a little interesting that I didn't hear any updates here today. So someone else, if you guys let me know, but I was looking for any information on this and I didn't see anything. But Texans wide receiver Stephon Diggs left the game with a non-contact injury, and it just looked like a classic ACL. Very similar to Cooper Kupp's, if you guys remember that a few years back. But yeah, didn't look good. How he planted there in the turf, and then the knee kind of did buckle a bit. So we'll see what happens there. We did have Zach Taylor come out and say about regarding T. Higgins that they're going to take it day to day. There are some things he was trying to do on Sunday morning, dealing with that quad injury that I suffered, I believe, Thursday or Friday last week, right into the game. So they just said, that just be smart about it. Of course, he is on the franchise tag. So I'm sure he's not trying to play, injured. He's trying to get paid here this off season. So that's that. We do have a little bit of quick injury news here with the Patriots quarterback Drake May. He's dealing with the NFL's concussion protocol right now. Got some good news on Niners running back Christian McCaffrey, saying they're going to hit it hard this week with some simulated practice workouts while they're on a bye. And they're aiming to get him back to practice the week after the bye if all goes well, and he could be eyeing a return here in week 10. Could be good timing because we did have the Jordan Mason, Niners running back, re-aggravate his shoulder during the game. And I don't know if it was a re-aggravation actually, or if it was another shoulder.
No, it was a re-aggravation because it was the same. Yeah, they were talking about it.
They were saying it was the same thing.
Hit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I wasn't sure, and the way it was kind of noted in there, it didn't say re-aggravated. I thought I had heard that, like you said. So I was just wanted to get some clarification there, but he did not return. So we saw Isaac Garindo get in there, get some work done. He looked, pretty good, but I mean, what running back in this Niners offense hasn't looked good? I mean, when you really think about it, like Mostert, like Eli Mitchell, like everyone.
Some of the other guys were a little bit more explosive than he was. Like he had like one good run after a while.
But what have we been talking about? Like literally, like you'll take the Niners running back over almost any.
Yeah, you got to go pick him up
in fantasy. Yeah, like that's what you do. So we'll get into that here soon.
You're gonna get some points for sure.
For sure. So we'll talk about that here in a moment. We did have just a late addition here. Giants running back Tyrone Tracy. He left the game, looked like with a head injury. He is in the concussion protocol. I did get an alert about that after the game, so we'll keep our eyes on that. But he looked, really good. Looks like he kind of won this job. But we'll see what happens here if this kind of sets him back a little bit. We did have 49ers.
Was like Tracy was great.
Yeah, he was doing real good.
I'm so glad I picked up Tracy weeks ago here.
Yeah, I got him in a ton of best ball spots. So like I said, I mean, yeah, and I was already doing good. So I'm excited to check where I'm at after that. But yeah, still a long way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm trying to beat that 42nd place again over there on Underdog. So we'll see. Shout out to our Underdog folks over there. All right. So Niners were already receiver Deebo Samuel. He left the game with a new injury, a rib injury. He was dealing with the wrist and elbow and pneumonia and all this other stuff. No, I don't think there was an elbow, but wrist and pneumonia, and then now dealing with the rib injury. So he didn't return to the game. And we had, I think even Chris Conley, he left the game early as well too. So yeah, Niners are just all banged up back there. Saints wide receiver Bud Means, he ended up with a high ankle sprain, so he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. They're saying he's going to miss some time. And even the third wide receiver there, over there in the Jags, Gabe Davis, he left the game with a shoulder injury. So they literally lost their top 3 receivers in that game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely some carnage in that game. So I wonder if that London trip, they were there for 2 weeks. I wonder if that had anything to do with it. You just start, maybe speculating when stuff like that happens, right? Just kind of some of these coincidences are, a little, hey, we'll see. We'll see. It's tough, but yeah. So that's all I have. Hopefully, I didn't miss anything there. Anything in the chat that you see there you want to bring up?
No, not yet. We're gonna get some questions here coming up.
Just keep them starred, and we'll get to them here shortly. So yeah, keep your questions coming. We will get to them here. We see you guys in there. So yeah. So speaking of Underdog, my best ball teams. You guys should go check them out. What's up, Jeezy? I know, man, Jeezy. It doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to go, man. Time out on the thing. What's up, Jeezy? He's trying to get me over to this Niners Bucks game, man.
Dude, I was about to go to this last game.
Oh yeah.
My lady was like, "Oh, let's go." Then she was like on the fence, and then like worried about coming back like midnight to go work the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's tough, man. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make that happen, but I'm kind of sad. It would be pretty cool, but yeah, it's just not realistic, man. I got 3 kids. It's just a tough time, man. It's a tough time, but we'll see.
Have you ever been to that stadium yet?
No, it'd be at the Bucks. No, he wants me to go to Florida, bro.
Oh, Florida. That's
yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's a little. Yeah, I mean, I go to the Bay Area. I do that all the time, but. Yeah, to go all the way across the country, that'd be a little tough. Anyway, Matt saying, is AR-15 droppable, man? At this point, he kind of seems like he is, but we'll talk about that a little more. So let's get back to our boys over here at Underdog, man. Frank, you want to tell them a little bit about them? Go right ahead.
So we got Underdog's the best place, the easiest place to play fantasy sports here. We enjoy the best ball drafts during the off season here, so we do a lot of live streams of those. So come check us out during the off season. So the best ball leagues are leagues where you just don't draft. You just draft, and that's it. You set the team, no season-long commitment, no waivers, no trades, no weekly lineup setting, and you can win hundreds of dollars doing this. So that's always important. So if you could have just set up your ADP basically at home, regular home drafts. Right now they got the pick'em contest, where you simply pick higher or lower on players, like rushing, receiving, yards, touchdowns, things like that. And what do they got? The sign up promo right now. You got the sign up promo. There it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, sign up now. You can use promo code Get Right. You receive 50% deposit match up to $1,000, and you also get a special CJ Stroud pick'em. Just set a plus minus half total yard until Thursday. Basically, perfect. Yeah. So download Underdog app. Go to underdog.com and just get the app. Make your first deposit and enter a contest today.
There you go. Well said. Well said. So yeah, man. So let's just get into it. Not too bad. 15-minute mark. Getting into our top waiver wire ads here for the week. So as you guys know, we typically like to start at the kind of go position by position if we can. Just kind of let you guys know, or do you just want to do like our top three, or yeah, let's just go by position. So Frank,
let's just use that.
Top waiver ads for week 9. Who do you got at the quarterback position?
My boy Russell Wilson, man.
Russ.
This guy's coming out with, off the bench, been injured. People counted him out. Justin Fields over there blowing it up, but he didn't do that good. He didn't earn the job enough. And Russ came in there and, showed why he's been the man for there for a while. I think that he needed that competition to kind of get him sparked up. You know what I mean? So he's doing well there. He's the guy that I've been looking at. I've had him on a couple teams where I just didn't need to do anything with him, but just hold on to him. And sure enough, because it's paying the dividends now that I'm going into bye weeks for my team, so it's cool.
There you go. Yeah, so I think we show him about 40% rostered at this point. One of the quarterbacks I'm looking at, even though it felt like so long ago now, Matt Stafford, man, he's 34% owned here on Sleeper. Is getting his weapons back. Puka Nacua came back and reminded us all where he left off, basically off his rookie year, setting every record basically as far as receiving and catching and yards and all this stuff. So he looked really good. Cup looked a little rusty. He looked a little more hobbled actually than Puka. But knowing him, coming back, Demarcus Robinson did have 2 touchdowns. Cooper was able to get the touchdown. Puka was able to get over the 100 yards. So they all kind of contributed. But this is a nice, wide receiver core. They're deep now. Of course, when your 2 top guys are down, it kind of just strengthens your depth as well too. I just think that's better for Stafford in this type of situation. So on a weekly basis, he's one of those guys where, if someone gets hurt or something like that, or, definitely a nice QB2. And even in some weeks, could be potentially a top 12 type guy, with guys like, AR-15 kind of dropping out of those top 12 spots. But he is coming off, a 32-point game here in 6-point per passing touchdown leagues, 25 attempts, 34 attempts, 25 completions for 279 and 4 touchdowns. 3 more touchdowns in week 8 than he did weeks 1 through 7. So, maybe if we find something in between weekly, at least 2 touchdowns. But yeah, one of those did go to Kyron in the air. So the Kyron owners were still happy as well too. He gets Seattle, Miami, New England, and then Philly coming up. So that's a nice, as far as matchups against quarterbacks there, and really not that bad playoff schedule as well. At San Francisco, at Jets, and home against Arizona in the desert. So, or out here in LA. So yeah, Matt Stafford, man, 34% owned. Go take a look if you are at the quarterback position.
Nice. I like him. Well, we couldn't be leaving this guy out. Bo Nix here this weekend.
Gotta mention him at least, right? QB1 overall this week.
Man. The guy's been scoring over 20 points 3 of the last 4 weeks. He's putting it together over there at Denver. Denver has a good defense, so that really helps him, kind of keep it moving, basically. He ended up 28 of 37, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's currently 25% on Yahoo, 37% on ESPN. You got to take a look at him, especially as these bye weeks come up, and even possibly as the start of some of these quarterbacks go down. You know what I mean? Like, luckily this year we haven't had as many as last year. But still, good guys to have here on your team that are scoring in the 20s last 3 weeks.
Yeah. 3 out of the last 4 games. And then, QB1 overall here. I mean, it was just Carolina, but Baltimore's been a nice matchup. Who he gets next at Baltimore, them coming off
They
their
just
loss.
got torched.
Yeah, but Baltimore, as far as fantasy goes, man, they're just putting, like, you could say Lamar had a bad game and still scored you 28 fantasy points. I mean, in a 6-point league. I mean, so what else can you really ask for? But yeah, Baltimore's, they were involved with that shootout with Burrow, against Cincinnati. This is just kind of a shootout team. So their defense, their secondary is banged up. So we'll see, what can happen over there. I think Nix is pretty much accounted for almost all, I think, but like 2 of the touchdowns so far for the Broncos, weeks 1 through 8. And yeah, he's getting it done on the ground, anywhere between 6 and 10 carries. Last week had 10 carries for 75 yards against New Orleans. Not too much in the air, but Baltimore, Kansas City, Atlanta, and then gets Cleveland, then the bye. Playoff schedule is Indy, home against Indy, at the Chargers, at Cincinnati. So pretty decent matchups as well there too, if you're in a bind. But yeah, so well done. Got to mention the QB1 overall.
Right.
Anyone else you got?
Well, we got to give an honorable mention there to Jameis Winston, right?
There we go. That's the name you got to talk about.
What a game, right? I gotta look. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. Hold on 1 second.
No, well, he's only 11% owned here on Sleeper. Again, when playing Baltimore, had 41 attempts, completed 27 passes for 334, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Interestingly enough, there was a couple that could have been picked. So I'm sure those will, eventually come. Did have 1 fumble lost, took 2 sacks as well too. But we know Jameis is a gunslinger. 30 points in a 29.56, just basically hot off the bench there, and that's with no Amari Cooper. So we'll get into Cedric Tillman here, who I think is the number 1 waiver ad of the week here shortly. So well said. Nice, especially in your super flex leagues. I'm sure a lot of people might have, as we were maybe hearing about Winston or Watson being, potentially benched, or, that lawsuit thing I saw Jameis get picked up in a couple places. But again, he's only 11% owned on Sleepers. So he's most likely out there 9 out of 10 leagues. So go check him out. Who else you got? Anyone else you want to mention?
First quarterback.
All right. Well, just a couple just quick ones here. I won't go into too much detail, but you do have Kirk Cousins. He's only 59%. I mean, I wish you could, play against Tampa every week. He seems to have career days against them, but he's pretty much done at this point. But, with his weapons, he is capable of it. So he's just someone, that you may need with these bye weeks coming up. So keep an eye on him. And of course, Tua Tagovailoa, also only 59% owned. He looked pretty good coming back. And that's just going to be a jump start for that Miami offense, as he continues to get comfortable as well too. Only 16 points, 16.66, but 38 attempts, 26 completions, 231, only 1 touchdown. But those wide receivers and that running back can take a 2-yard slant to the house at any given time. So just someone to keep on your radar if he was dropped. And he might be in a situation with the quarterback. So that should wrap it up there for quarterbacks, unless there's anything else you got. Are you ready to move on here to running backs?
Running backs it is. Let's see. What do we got?
All right.
Just Slim Pickens this week, right?
Yeah, so top running back waiver ads here of week 9. I don't have too many. Thankfully, thank goodness we didn't have like a major running back injury that we have to scrounge to the waiver wire for. So some of these guys are guys we're just kind of like, just keep your eye out. Someone maybe you should, kind of consider. There's, the big one I think is, maybe if he is out there for you, he's just under our 65% threshold. And what we just seen here tonight, I know he is dealing with a concussion, but that's going to be Tyrone Tracy. Maybe even a greater chance that you can pick him up and stash him. It looks like he has taken over this backfield and has been looking pretty good. here. So Tyrone Tracy, 64% owned on Sleeper. Probably my number one running back this week if somebody, if he's out there for you and you're looking to either stash someone. You may not get him this week with the concussion, especially on a Monday night. But what do you think about Tyrone Tracy?
If he's out there, man, that the guy looks explosive. So you want to go get him. I'm just thinking he's like replacing Saquon over there. He has the opportunity to kind of do that for them. So I'd definitely go be shooting after him. I was watching him play tonight. Dude, guys mean.
Yeah, he's almost like what we all thought like Antonio Gibson was going to be, that converted wide receiver. But if anything, he's getting it done here on the ground. 20 carries for 145. That's a 7.25 yard average. Did get the touchdown. Had only 2 catches on 3 targets out of the backfield for only 5 yards. There was several plays that were called back, on penalty as well in this game, or else, his numbers could have been even better. Like he had like a 20-yard run that got called back on hold. He was close to probably almost closer to 200 all-purpose yards if you count all those plays that were taken back on penalty. I think he had a nice screen as well too that was brought back on a legal man downfield. That might have been Singletary, but I know there was several and still came out, with 23 full PPR points tonight. Gets Washington. Even if you miss the Washington game, he gets Carolina week 10. So go get your hands on this guy. And he might even be somebody that we're looking to buy when it comes to Wednesday on buy, sell, hold. So we'll definitely talk about that. Who else you got here for your waiver wire ads at the running back?
Well, I got a sneaky late one here, and Dalvin Cook. He did end up playing this last week's game, and they had a late game injury there, so he ended up getting
illness by Dowdle.
Some kind of illness, and Dowdle's not been playing too bad, man. Honestly, if they would just actually help block a little bit here, it would help, right? But we had Zeke ended up getting the touchdown in that game, but Cook should see maybe some future touches here, so kind of more a hold. I'm not sure I'm rushing out to him, but he had 6 attempts, 12 yards only there, but he's getting that 1 reception for 10 yards. Worth a look, just kind of a sneaky stash type dude. Hopefully if something happens over there in Dallas, he could get some opportunities. I don't think he's gonna it's not gonna be blown up.
Winner or anything, but
no.
Just like a depth piece. So another guy I have on my running back ads is going to be Isaac Garendo in that same game, obviously filling in for Jordan Mason. Only problem with him, don't go spend a ton of fab. Obviously, number one, they're on a bye week this week, so you're not getting him this week. And there's a chance he's the RB3 by week 10 by the time the Niners play again, if Mason comes back healthy. And then we see Christian McCaffrey start getting worked in here as well, too. But he may not be someone worth, it still may not be bad to still stash him. And if you do it now, it might be the cheapest that, you can maybe get him. And maybe he doesn't even get picked up if that's the case. Again, only 9% owned in leagues. But I think he's worth the stash because, again, this shoulder injury could be, re-aggravated or, who knows, could get to a point where, now he's on the IR for, 4 weeks or so to kind of end the season. And then obviously we don't know what McCaffrey is going to look like when he comes back and if he comes back week 10. So I do think it's, a sneaky little play that you can, go grab, especially to those teams that are, I would say 4-4 or at least, 5-3 or better. To go get him cheap off the wire this week might be a smart play because he looks good, and he's fast. Almost like the mini A-Chan, if you will. So, I don't know if we'll go that far. All right. Anybody else you got?
Not much of that I could want to go into these. It's not that deep. They got a comment here for Jaleel McLaughlin. As a running back ad this week. Let's take a look at his stats here.
Yeah, I think he found the end zone. I have a lot of them in best ball. So like I said, it was a weird best. I had a good day in best ball, but not my actual teams. Yeah.
He went 8 for 47, and then he had a receiving touchdown there. 1 for 9 for the touchdown there on the run. So, maybe he's a depth piece here. Take a look over Denver. I just don't even know what to make of the Denver backfield. What do you got over there?
I mean, I'm all about McLaughlin, but I've had to drop him in several places at this point. But like I said, in my best ball leagues where I don't have to worry about starting him, but when he does, get that random touchdown, it's nice. And again, if anything were to happen to Javonte, he can have an increased role there, although it'll probably be a split between him and Audric Estime. Probably taking that first down work. But yeah, only 19% owned on Sleeper. Jaleel McLaughlin, so good stuff there. Who else we got? Oh yeah, Marshawn Lloyd. He should be coming off IR here soon. We did see actually. I didn't put it in the news and notes, but Josh Jacobs was a little limped up, kind of towards the end of the game. Kind of took himself out on that run towards the end, but still did the interview afterwards and seems to be okay. Didn't get any kind of word on it, today, so I assume he's fine. But yeah, Marshawn Lloyd. Remember, before he went on IR, he actually had the RB2 role before Wilson. And it was because, remember, they were playing like in Puerto Rico or whatever that was, South America, wherever game that was, that they were doing early in the season. And, basically was dealing with that hamstring, then went on IR. So he'll be coming back. So he might actually come back and assume that role that, Wilson has. And Wilson's looked good. And if Lloyd was better, might be better to grab Lloyd at this point. So nice. That's a deep one, Jeezy. So well said. And Joe, we're going to get into Tillman here in just a second. Any other running backs you have that you want to mention here?
No, I think like I said, slim week on the running back this week. It is what it is. Yeah. Just the other. You don't want them all like that anyways.
Exactly. Yeah, just your other usual suspects. Jaylen Warren, he could be a sneaky play out there. Didn't do really much tonight. That it felt like I didn't even really recall him. I don't even know if I heard his kind of name even mentioned. Now that I think about it, he's 48% owned. And yeah, he did not even register a snap. No, their snaps aren't out there. No, he had 9 carries for 46 yards, 2 catches for 13 yards. He has a quiet 46 yards. Yeah, I swear I didn't. I feel like I didn't hear his name at all.
There's all the regular, running back stashes, like the Braylon Allen,
your Algiers,
Blake Corbin, Chandler, Vidal, Charbonnet, all these
Jordan
guys
Brooks,
just like,
take a look at
those guys. If you want to hold on to them, hold on to them.
For sure.
Somebody goes down, they're the next man up for sure, and they have the great opportunity ahead of them.
And it's been happening for sure.
So,
all right. Good stuff. All right. So let's move on here. We will go to the wide receiver waiver ads here for week 9. So as you guys saw on the thumbnail, we couldn't decide on which two. So Classic Mike and I, we couldn't agree. So we just went with the trio. Instead of cutting someone out, we just said, let's throw them all 3 on there. So one of the guys, pretty much the number 1 waiver wire ad, it seems like kind of just industry wide at this point. We always say we want to see someone do it again. And that's Cedric Tillman. He's only 24% owned here on Sleeper. Didn't really get much, respect after last week. Where was he at last week? I know we had him on the list. So he was 30. Oh no, he was only 2% owned last week. Had the 12 targets for 81 yards and the 2-point conversion. Gets bumped up to only 11% now. Oh no, I'm sorry, 24% now. So a good bump, but still not quite enough. Looks like he is the wide receiver 1 over there in Cleveland, and with Jameis at the helm, that's great. Played 90% of the snaps, 7 catches for on 9 targets for 99 yards. Did get 2 touchdowns as well too. So yeah, man, he looks like the real deal. Gets the Chargers next. They're tough on defense. They have the week 10 bye. Then they get New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Denver, Pittsburgh again, and then Kansas City. Then you get Cincinnati and Miami for the semifinals and finals. So it kind of lightens up. It is a rough stretch there. And the other thing that's tough too is there's a lot of teams that have that week 12 and week 14 bye, and he's matched up against Pittsburgh on both of those weeks. So just keep that in mind. Like maybe not go completely crazy on your fab for this guy. just because those matchups are going to be a little tough. So yeah, that's my only thing. You're seeing Pat Surtain, you're seeing Trent McDuffie, and then you're seeing Joey Porter, right?
Yeah.
That's who was covering shadowing neighbors, right? So most likely he'll probably shadow Tillman unless they give Judy the love. But I'm pretty sure if Tillman keeps being this guy, he's going to get that Porter shadow on weeks 12 and 14. So just keep that in mind when you guys are putting in your waiver claims there. Pay attention to your bye weeks. All right. So who else you got? Who you want to talk about here at the wide receiver position?
All right, let me take a look at my list. Who did I even put on here?
My bad. Yeah, I just felt he was the number
That
one
was a
guy.
different spot.
Spend a little time on that guy.
I want to talk about my guy Josh Downs. I got him a couple leagues here.
There you go.
He's been steady Eddie kind of guy coming up here after he came back from his injury. I was worried with the quarterback coming back, Anthony Richardson, because he doesn't always do too great with them, but he did pull out a good game, and I think he can continue. 4 9 targets, 109 yards, and a touchdown. And pretty decent game the week before. 709 for 66 and a touchdown then. So, he's getting a couple here and there. So, I like him. As long as Anthony Richardson actually throws the ball a little bit, this guy will be a beneficiary. 47% own on
I think it's better
Yahoo.
if they go to Flacco, actually.
You think? Oh, I would like it better, yes, but I wasn't. I'm not upset now. You know what I mean? Like, it used to stress me out even more having Anthony Richardson throw or not throw or run. Basically, you know what I mean? Like, it's just he just needs chillax, and hopefully throughout the season they kind of they kind of settle in. You know what I mean? So yeah, 49% on ESPN. What is he on Sleeper? Do you have the number?
It's Josh Downs 63% on Sleeper. So he's right under that 65%.
Yeah.
And if Flacco, if they turn to Flacco, man, he's gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looking nice. Yeah, he's looking nice. The other two guys I want to mention here, just real quick, are the other Cleveland guys. Obviously, with Winston just throwing around the yard over there. Jerry Jeudy, is in consideration for a look. He did have 5 catches on 8 targets for 79 yards. Didn't score the touchdown again. Both went to, or 2 of them went to Tillman. And then you have Elijah Moore over there who had a decent game as well. He's the one who saw the 12 targets this game, 8 catches on those 12 targets for 85 yards, 16 and a half PPR points. So again, both, I mean, if Winston's at the helm, he may be able to support these guys. And even on top of that, you had David Njoku, who I think, is probably the second best talent there, if not the first. He still even had a good game, 5 catches on 7 targets for 61 yards, and he was the one who got that 3rd touchdown.
There goes that national tight end day.
Exactly, there it is. Again, Winston, we saw him, produce Godwin and Mike Evans, and had these guys up there as top wide receivers, before Brady got there. Just again, you just hope he's not throwing, you hope he gets the 3 touchdowns and not 3 picks.
Right.
So, 3 for 1 isn't too bad, but yeah, he might have some 3-and-3 type games as well too. Who else you got here? I have a ton of wide receivers. I mean, we're just kind of in the day and age of wide receivers, so I have a ton of them. Who else do you have?
Keon Coleman, right?
One of our thumbnail guys. Yeah, he's a thumbnail guy. So yeah, talk about Coleman.
5 receptions, 7 targets, 70 yards. Got the TD over there. I mean, you're on the high-powered offense with the Bills here. Hopefully, they keep it up. I mean, he's had a couple spurt games here and there, but I mean, honestly, it's kind of becoming steady Eddie over there. And I think we got an injury here coming up. Who was it that went down over there? The Bills. Remember mixing up the team. No, it's not.
I think you're thinking Christian Kirk, but it's Khalil Shakir. I get them kind of mixed up too.
Yeah.
If that's what you're thinking. Just knowing you for 20 years, I think that's what you're thinking.
Opportunity to get more looks over there. The rookie, and he's straightening it up here, man. They got Miami next, Indy, and then KC. So 2 decent games there in Miami and Indy. KC is going to be a little bit tough. Then he goes into the bye week, coming out against San Francisco, the Rams, and Detroit, heading into the playoffs against the New England and then the Jets. So not too bad. Kind of rough at the end there, but hey,
Not even, because he's not going to see Rodriguez and he's not going to see Sauce because Cooper's there now. So I think this Cooper move really freed up Coleman now. And then you have Shakir just eating underneath. He's truly he's the target guy of this offense. And Cooper's the one that kind of almost needs to find his way. They're almost just running Cooper out there like a decoy. If they feel that, that money's spent, will at least free up these two other guys. Josh Allen's going to make the, read. And then of course he's going to tuck it, sometimes as well too. He's not afraid to take that deep shot, to Coleman, which is, what you like. And, we saw him hit on, numerous, big plays. So, that's what you want to see, that 4 or 5 catches on 7 targets that he's had these last 2 games with Cooper here. I think that's just a nice realm that he can live in. And, you mentioned those matchups. To me, that's just like licking my chops because he's going up against the second best coverage. He's not going to be taking those top guys. They're going to be on Cooper, so he should be able to eat and get those one-on-one looks. And then again, what do we always say? You can't teach 6'4" and that speed and that size, right? Like, and he's starting to get that confidence, and he's starting to look like an NFL, wide receiver. So, get some of that swag, and you never know what that confidence can do for you too. So, and again, Amari Cooper's good. It's good for him to, just learn from, a veteran wide receiver. That's what they were lacking in that locker room at that, skill position. So I think that's just, big time overall.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, so well said. He was the one we were fighting over the thumbnail about. So I wanted Coleman on there, and Classic Mike wanted Parker Washington. So obviously, with all 3 Jags wide receivers going down, someone there had to catch the ball. I mean, I assume we all think, Evan Ingram's going to get a nice bump there as well. We'll talk about Brenton Strange here in a little bit in tight ends. Might have burst the bubble already, but he's the only guy I have there. But when it comes down to now wide receivers, Parker Washington, he's kind of more known as their kind of kick return specialist there, special teams type guy. But he stepped up a couple times last year as well too. But yeah, Parker Washington, any thoughts on him?
No, I don't even know about that guy.
See, Classic Mike, this is why I didn't want him on the thumbnail, but I'm not rushing out to, grab him as well. But if these guys are going to miss time, obviously Kirk is out for the season. He's going to be the one stepping into that role. And, it's kind of been hit or miss, but with no Gabe Davis, no, BTJ, missed, may miss a week here, but, it looks like he escaped any long-term injury. So there has to be someone else there to catch the ball. It could also be a boost for ETN as well, too. Maybe they use him more like a scat back and, run him and take Bidsby on the field at the same time once he comes back healthy from his hamstring. So things are getting a little interesting there in Jacksonville.
Right.
All right. Who else you got? Anyone else you want to mention here?
No, no, not really. I think that's the top guys to go after, really. I mean, you want to talk about maybe Ricky Pearsall over at the Niners, but I think you guys, with all the injuries, I just didn't think he showed up enough. You know what I mean? Like, not something I want to go out and just go run and get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. These are just kind of definitely deeper type stashes.
Yeah.
We just don't know what, some of the, what things could, happen. But if you just kind of want a wide receiver to, stash around, some names you could look at would be the Jalen Tolberts, 36% owned on Sleeper, Ricky Pearsall, 55% on Sleeper, Jerry Jeudy, I mentioned earlier, he's 62%. You got John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson at 0% for Mechie and 4% for Hutchinson. You have both Collins out. Now looks like Diggs may be out, for an extended time, if not the rest of the season. So one of these guys is going to step up. These were kind of highly touted rookies, for us Dynasty players. These are names that are probably stashed in our taxi squad still. I know I have a couple of those shares as well too, there. So, let's see if, let's see what happens. Nico Collins kind of came out of nowhere, and, Tank Dell ended up hitting bigger than Mechie or Hutchinson, but I think they spent a higher pick on Mechie than they did Dell, if I don't recall. But yeah. And then of course you got Sterling Shepard. He did leave the game, I think, with a hamstring injury, but did return. He's 40% owned there in Tampa Bay. And then you got Rashad Bateman, still only at 45% owned. He missed on a couple. He could have had a really big day. Missed on a couple connections with Lamar. Lamar just wasn't quite on. And like I said, he looked off and still scored you 28 points in fantasy. So you can't be mad on a fantasy standpoint, but definitely left a lot of meat on the bone when it came to Rashad Bateman. And Zay Flowers missed him on a potential big play as well too. Or else you can have an even bigger, one of those like 40-point weeks that we all love from Lamar. So that kind of rounds out wide receivers for me then, if you said you're done there. So Elijah Moore, Ravens, we did talk about him. We talked about Parker Washington, and we just mentioned Mechie as well too, so that's perfect. We're right on we're right on the same page there. Look at that. All right, cool. All right, so let's move on here. We'll get to the tight end positions here, and then we'll run through your guys' questions here. We'll probably do about 15 to 20 minutes or so, kind of get out of here as close to an hour that we can. We've got about 15, 20 minutes that we can do. Like I mentioned earlier, really the only tight end I have is Britton Strange. I maybe could have researched a little more, but I know you go with tight ends, man, but I just know, with those injuries, he did see an uptick in usage, him and, Ingram. So he just someone, and especially when Ingram was out again, he built up some rapport with, Trevor Lawrence. So I think he's a nice, safety blanket for him. So, hey, got his team high 5 targets and 5 catches for 55 yards. So not bad, playing 40% of the snaps. So, that's in a TEP league, that's 13.4. I don't know. I always got to check it somewhere else because I'm on a TEP league. At least I remembered this time when I said the points. But who do you got for tight ends, man?
We got Cade Otton, man, over there at Tampa Bay.
He has to be over 65%.
63 in Yahoo, 59 in ESPN.
Oh, he's 72 in Sleeper. That's why I didn't make my cut. But yeah. I have him probably in those 7 out of 10 leagues that you're playing with.
Okay. Well, there you go. I was looking to pick him up the other day in one of my leagues. And I seen it was still available.
He's one of the main he was one of the main reasons I had a great best ball week this week.
Oh, there you go. I mean, the past 2 weeks he's had.
But yeah, if he's out there on those other platforms, go
9 for 10, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out over there at Tampa Bay, it's got to go somewhere. And who was the other wide receiver over there at Tampa Bay?
Back-to-back 10 target games. Yeah, and you got your boy Jeezy in the house, our native Bucks fan. But yeah, you had Jalen McMillan and Trey Palmer as the other 2 wide receivers, as well as Sterling Shepard, who was in the slot. Yeah. None of them really did much again because
didn't stand out that much, right?
Yeah, because Otton, it was pretty much kind of again national tight ends week. You had Trey Palmer play 70% of the snaps, only had 2 targets, caught both of them for only 29 yards. And then what did McMillan do? McMillan 61% rostered on Sleeper. He had 7 targets at least, had 4 catches on those 7 targets for 35 yards. So again, but then they do draw Kansas City and then San Francisco in a bye. But then they do get after the bye, they have a really nice schedule with the Giants, the Panthers, the Raiders. Then they get Chargers, Dallas, Carolina in your championship game. So you want a piece of this this Tampa Bay offense in your championship week, man. Should be points galore there for you. We just saw what Bo Nix did over there, so I'm sure Baker could dice him up. So good call on those guys. Cade Otton for sure if he's out there. Anyone else you got?
No, that's it, man. I mean, everybody else has been taken on there. There's nobody else that I think stand out that much in tight end world.
Good stuff. Yeah. Just besides the usual kind of guys. I mean, you just want to throw somebody in there. It's a tough position.
Taysom Hill, coming back from injury kind of sort of situation. I mean, that's it. I mean,
yeah, not too much out there. I guess he had a big game. I'm not falling for the tight end. I'm not chasing these tight end points. It was just a weird week. David Montgomery throwing a touchdown to Sam Laporta. Finally, he gets on the board, not even from Jared Goff. Screw all your screw all of your best ball golf and Laporta stacks. Oh man, that was tough. Putting up 52 on him, 50 burger. All right, so that'll wrap up our top waiver wire ads. Hopefully, some of those guys can help you guys out here as we're getting through this run here. We're going to start getting into bye weeks again. Again, 2 teams on a bye this week. You have the Steelers and the Niners. I think someone here in the chat, and Frank, if you want to start kind of scrolling up to the chat there, I think Matt said is Boswell. I assume the kicker Boswell will hold through his bye. I don't think so. There's plenty of good kickers out there at the moment, so I'm not giving up a running back or a wide receiver. Depends on who it is, but I'm not usually trying to hold a kicker like that unless it's like Aubrey or something. Like he has to be like the number 1 or number 2 at the position. He might be. I know he had that like big week 1 or week 2, but yeah, I think I already spent a lot of time on the kicker, but appreciate it, Matt. But yeah, so let's get scroll back up to the top here. So if you have any questions, drop them in here. We'll take as many as we can until the top of the hour.
Here we go. We got Bullseye coming in here.
So go ahead.
How's it going? I need some help for week 9. Start 2 running backs: Najee Harris, Chase Brown, Tyrone Tracy, and Rashad White. I would go with Najee and Tyrone Tracy.
Oops, bring it up again. So Najee, Chase Brown, Tyrone Tracy, Rashad White. So right now, I'm kind of leading Chase Brown and Rashad White, not knowing the matchups off the top of my head, but that's where I would lean. Bullseye, make sure you come back with us on Friday for our Start Sit episode when we have our rankings and do our deep dive and no injuries and all that good stuff. But my initial thought is Brown and White in full PPR. Who you got next?
I'm Najee and Tyrone. Yeah. They're like complete opposites. Joe Ortiz, if Dace is out, who are we targeting in redraft?
I don't know if you could target anyone there, but I would go Hutchinson first and then Mechie. But who knows after a week, of preparation with the 2 of them. Just I think it's a lot of Tingdell. It should be a lot of Tingdell over there. But yeah, that's who I'm going for. Who else you got?
I don't think you got too many guys go after that over there. I agree. It's just like it is what it is over there.
Well, as I said, what happened to BTJ? Just dealing with the chest injury. So we'll see how it goes.
To WM85, if this come playoffs, I will have Brees Hall, JT, and Flex Tracy. Nice. So he's bragging about his nice running back room.
Love it. Love it.
So Chandler, Costantino, CMC, Pacheco, Mason, and Brooks, Goddard, Evans, Debo, Diggs, Rice, and more have died on my team.
Dang, Chandler. Yeah. That's a RIP list, my guy. RIP, bro. Yeah, that's tough, man. Hopefully you've made some waiver wire moves. Hopefully you've
still alive, right?
If you could just sneak yourself. Yeah, I mean, you just got to get, maybe if you're in one of those leagues that has like a prize for first place or whatever, just for bragging rights, sitting at the top of the leaderboard's nice. But it's all about just getting in the tournament, man, and building the best team you can for those 3 weeks. So as long as you can get that 6th place or 4th place, however your league is set up for playoffs, just get in there, man. If you got these guys coming back potentially for those 3 games, you might sneak up on some people and bring it home, man. So Evans, Debo, they're going to be good. Diggs and Rice are most likely gone, but you have a chance there. You have a chance.
Yeah, he has opportunities. Boston Rebels is 7-1, traded Devontae Smith for Nico Collins, so got no flex this week. Trade Tyrone Tracy and Rome Odunze for a flex. Last of at waiver priorities: Keon Coleman, Josh Downs, Leggett, Tillman, or waiver wire.
Yeah, so I'll start with the waiver wire first. For me, it's Coleman, then Tillman, then Downs, then Leggett or Leggett. I like the Devonta Smith for Nico trade, especially at 7-1. That's fantastic. Well done there. And
so,
if you can maybe,
I would just make sure, even at last, you'll still be able to get one of these guys. Not everybody in your league is going to be picking up one of these guys.
Yeah, you might be able to get one of them. And then, if waivers, go through, make sure you come back for us on Wednesday when we talk buy, sell, trade targets,
What do you got?
and let us know who you have then and what options are out there. And then, maybe you can put a package together for Tracy and Rome and find, someone that you can get, for a week. That might not be, too bad. So, come back with us on Wednesday, man. Let us know who you end up getting, if anyone, and if not, then we'll roll our sleeves up, man, as it says right up here, and get to work, man. We'll get you dialed in. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for us, guys. And we're getting close to 1.34 thousand.
Yeah,
so let's
we
go.
gotta get it. Augusta, Hishian.
We'll just call him Augusta.
Hishian.
We appreciate it.
Augusta K. My running backs are Hall, Kamara, Chase Brown, Dobbins, Hunt, Chubb, and wide receivers are London, Neighbors, Ridley, Deontay Johnson, Jennings, and my tight ends are Bowers and Hawkinson. What would you give for Puka?
I would sell high on Ridley and Deontay Johnson, and the fact that he might get traded and go somewhere. We saw Cooper go to the Bills. We saw DeAndre Hopkins go to the Chiefs. So I think that takes the two of those teams out of it. And really no other team that I get too excited about, like maybe Dallas being attached to Dak. They're kind of missing a two. They could maybe use a possession receiver like Deontay to maybe, run underneath, CD. But other than that, Frank, what are you kind of thinking there? They say he will be traded. There's a alert that came out that said Deontay will be traded in this next week. They seem pretty confident about the fact.
I think I would move on Browns or Dobbins along with one of the wide receivers you just mentioned, Ridley or Deontay. I think that would do it to get Puka.
Yeah, just depending on what the person's looking for.
Dobbins, he's been pretty good, but I mean, he's been slowing down some, so it's time to move on him. You know what I mean? Like I would be happy to move on Dobbins and like you're saying, Ridley or Deontay Johnson, and just kind of package them up that way. I would just I wouldn't just send two wide receivers. I think that somebody would, if they look at it with a running back and a wide receiver, they're being sold on it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, it just depends on what they're looking for. If they want a running back wide receiver package, then for me, it's probably going to be Ridley and Hunt, just in case Pacheco comes back. But it is kind of hard to trade Hunt right now. So maybe I go Dobbins or Chubb there. Again, just depending on how you feel about Chubb. Just me personally, those would be the guys that I would look to move on. But again, I don't completely disagree with Dobbins. I just feel he's in a good spot and he's been looking good on an offense that wants to give him 20 plus touches, and you just don't find that too often anywhere. Like I don't think Chubb's going to hit 20 carries a game just coming off that injury. I don't think it would just be smart for them, right? So we're talking fantasy, right? So for my opinion, I'm selling high on Ridley because Mason Rudolph isn't going to be starting every game. I mean, maybe, but Will Levis, is probably due to come back. They need to see what they have in him to decide whether they move on or not. Mason Rudolph's just a journeyman. He's the new age Fitzpatrick. So I'm looking to sell high on Ridley, and I would package either Johnson if he's looking for two wide receivers for Puka and needs some depth, or either Chubb or Dobbins, probably in that order.
Yeah.
All right.
George Cheese is asking, are we dropping DJ Moore now? I have McConkey available, or Jay Myers or Sutton.
I'm keeping Moore over Myers or Sutton. I know he's a Raiders fan, though, so he'll probably keep Myers over him, but I'll drop him for Sutton for sure. I'm keeping DJ Moore.
You're keeping DJ Moore, not afraid?
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, guys have bad games, and he came off a bye, so it's like, what have you done for me lately? It was just, bad couple weeks.
It's the world of Faguzis here. Can I still make it in I'm 2-6, 10-man, Stroud, Achane, Brees, AJB, London, McBride. I got Olave. This bench is Bigsby, Dell, Goddard, Dowdle, and Russell. 10-man.
It feels like you're kind of missing a piece here in a 10-man league. Like, because Olave didn't turn out to kind of what you want him to be, so to speak. Exactly. And same thing with Achane. I mean, maybe you can make a run for it here, but basically, I would assume in a 10-man, if there's only 4 playoff spots, like I know in 10-man leagues that you and I did, we usually had 4. We didn't go to the 6 until we went to a 12 team. Might be. I don't know, man. I don't know if you can get in there. I don't know if you can
that
get
doesn't
in
look
there
like
at
you're gonna make it.
2-6, man. I mean, don't give up. Like, still try to play spoiler or ruin somebody else's year. Like, just try to still win your games and play it out, for the sake of the league. Like, I'm never for anything like that. Like, you never know what can happen. Like, some of those teams can go, you
Have
can,
injuries.
you can
win
go
the right
6-2
weeks.
over.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta, get it in there. So I mean, you just gotta make a run. Like usually 7-6, I know in a 12-team league, 7-6 is usually kind of that 6th spot. There might be 2 or 3 teams, and it kind of comes down to points. So yeah, you're just shooting for kind of all upside. You kind of have to put all your eggs in a basket. You can't worry too much about depth. You need to just trade anything you have to try to get the best starters you can get, and just hope they all stay healthy, and you have at least 1 or 2, behind to kind of cover for bye weeks and stuff like that, and just keep your fingers crossed no one gets hurt. That's what it's going to take. But we're here for you, man. Just keep coming back here every week. Let us know.
He's got extended questions going on here. He's would you trade away Javonte and Mooney for Pollard, other wide receivers, Hill, Puka, Pickens? Must be.
I probably would, yeah, because you definitely need somebody better than Javonte, and Pollard's better than that. And with those wide receivers, like I'm okay starting Pollard, over Mooney. I would do that.
A hell of a time. 85, JT, Kyron, Willie Mason, Jamar.
Yeah, see.
Hill. Yeah.
Just kind of keep getting that bad matchup. Yeah, you have the right guys, but yeah. That's a tough spot, man. That's a tough spot. So
let's go, boys. 6-2 without Higgins and Evans, and my running backs let me down, but I'm still winning. So, yeah, that happens. There you go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Bro. All right. So
we're
right there at the hour mark. That's perfect.
An hour.
What a time.
Well done, guys. Well done. All right, man. So we'll be back here Wednesday for Buy, Sell, Trade. Again, make sure you guys go check out our affiliate. All right, let me get this banner out of here. Well done, Frank. So our affiliate channels here. We have Tycoon with the Fantasy Boardroom. He's here on Tuesdays for you. You got the Fantasy Football Tavern with Kendall Vanderbilt. He's here with Classic Mike on Fridays, Part 1, Start Sit. You have Phil Ruskin doing 3 shows a week. He's here Wednesdays and Thursdays doing his Dynasty outlooks and trade talk on Wednesdays, and then does DFS prop bets and higher lowers and underdog lineups and things like that on Thursdays. And then he's here with me Fridays doing our start sit game by game breakdowns. So make sure you guys get in the description and go shoot them a subscribe. Make sure you shoot us a subscribe here as well too. Again, here is the full roster. You can take a quick screenshot of that and know when you can get with us. But the easiest way is to just hit that like and subscribe button and turn those notifications on. Then you don't have to worry about when to show up. You'll get that notification and we'll be here with you live. So for all of us here, man, Frank, is there anything else you want to say? You're ready to get out of here, man?
No, man. I mean, we're halfway past the season now. It's been a rough ride so far. I think it's
downhill from here.
This is it's now it's just like, just buckle up, bring it on home.
Roll those sleeves up.
You got to roll this season. We get to work now. Now it's time if you're in the middle. Time to make that push.
Yeah, we have data to analyze. Draft stock is out the window, man. You're making moves to again get in the playoff, get in the dance, and then let's make some noise when we get there. So again, good luck to you guys here heading into week 9. We'll see you here on Wednesday when we talk roster management, buy, sold, trade targets. Again, we'll be here Friday for start sit. So from all of us here, make sure you guys go check out TrophySmack.com, man. They have some awesome trophies and belts and good stuff like that. Use that promo code Get Right. Anyway, throwing that quick promo before we get out of here. Frank, appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming out here Monday. For Dustin, who we saw in the chat there, man. Always nice to see you popping in here with us. And of course, Classic Mike. We got Tycoon, Kendall. We got Phil. For all of us here at Get Right, man. Good luck here week 9. Let's put the work in and let's get some wins here this weekend. Peace out, fellas.
Peace out.
Laters.
Wanted to write fantasy is the play. Marking nothing but I tune every Friday. Strategies provided, I